Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Branden, or SpookieSTL for those of you who know me. Today we're going to be doing one of our first podcasts. It's going to be anger, love, and happiness. Just going to talk over these topics very briefly, probably about 6 to 8 minutes, if that might be a little long. Reasoning behind it. These three things come together in multiple different ways. I see them as a very interesting chemical reaction within us that all can stem from each other and ultimately gauge into one another. It's like a pendulum that kind of swings back and forth. 1 second we could be in love, or we could be angry because we are feeling that way, as well as happiness can bring out other strengths in us as well. So I feel like it's a very big triangle in our lives. So I'm going to briefly just go around them. First things up, we're going to talk about anger a bit. How it could be very poisonous. It could be very dangerous for some of us. But at the same point, it could be a drive, a fuel, something that we could use to strengthen us, mold us, push us further than we ever thought was possible. Sometimes we get angry at people for what they did to us. Sometimes we get angry at the world around us and how our situation perceives everything else to be. Hardships, time, stress, money, family. It goes on and on and on. Anger is always going to be there. The worst thing you could do is constantly fail yourself to that anger and never learn from it, pick yourself up, and never truly see what was the value of being angry at something that you had probably nothing you could do about the situation. So how do you get past that anger? How do you become passive? Well, some people do have that passive ability to them where they can choose to not be subject to anger or hatred or feel that certain way. They just kind of sit and they observe and they let things happen. Sometimes that's the best thing we can do. Not everything needs a reaction. Let's say for me, sometimes when I work in retail, like a customer comes up to me and is giving me an attitude or something, or I'm trying to help them. This happened recently, and all I was trying to do is just give them back something in return to help them out. They didn't want to hear it. So what happens, two people get angry, and then it's just a bad chemical reaction that keeps going and it goes nowhere. It's like a revolving door. One thing goes out, the other one comes back in. When it comes to this, you need to learn how to pick and choose what is worth your time and what's stressing about. Anger it's a very powerful thing. Sometimes you could be angry that you lost at something so bad that you want to become better. So then anger turns into pride, turns into drive and fuel. So anger is not all that bad, but then also anger can turn into something more. Some people get angry to the point where they can hurt themselves, they can hurt others. So the gauge can go from severe to more so to a point of where not so severe, I guess you can say, but it does change us in multiple different ways. Anger could lead to many bad habits. People who are very angry usually have a reason behind it. People who are very mad sometimes or upset usually have a reason that they get that way. And then there's also that split gauge of anger that comes out like whenever it's a reaction to something that happened to us as human beings. Whether it be death in the family, something unfair that happened at school or work. Even, let's say you get into an accident, a car accident, you're angry at the other person. So there's different levels. I think it's contact when something happens to us, as well as something that is internal, like internal anger versus external anger. So there's two separate angers there that we have to be aware of, and how to deal with each one in our own separate ways that we need to be aware of. So to close off on that topic, be mindful of which one may be occurring in your life right now, and try to be passive about it, or try to deal with it in a way, or deal with the person who's very angry in a different way, a different type of approach, so that anger doesn't grow onto you. To get on the topic of, let's go to love real quick. Actually, love's another strong one. Different types of love. You have friendly love, you have family love, and then you have your self-love. As you may have heard so many times in the past, that you have to be willing to love yourself first, because you could love, or before you love others, before you even think about trying to help others, you need to be completely content and okay with yourself, which is hard to do. To love yourself and to be completely okay with yourself in whatever situation you are in is one of the hardest things to do. For me, I like to overextend that, and I like to help others before I even think about myself. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are very generous that do that, but also, too, you may be stretching yourself too far because you might be not okay or insecure. So for you, it's like a cry for help, but you're doing the best that you can. So you got to be willing to understand yourself and love what you have now, appreciate what you have now, so that you could be okay, to allow other people to get into your life, and so you can show that love in return. We're talking love for family. Family's always going to be there. Sometimes you have family problems. Maybe some person in the family did one thing, or somebody is a certain way towards you. Not everybody's going to be okay. Everybody's a different person with their own different beliefs and ideas. Family should always be there, though. Sometimes people prioritize family as number one. That's okay to do. Everybody's different. Then you also have your friends, who is a friendly type love. Friends is another topic in general. You have the ones that come and go, the ones that stay and plant their roots really deep within your heart. And then you have acquaintances. I've said this in multiple other videos. The ones that stay are the ones that you should show the most and utmost love towards, in constant appreciation, because if they're there with you through every step of your journey and helping you understand life along the way, they're the ones that you should show that love and affection towards in whatever way, whether that be spending some time. Some people believe that there's 5 different love languages that are spoken. You guys can check that up, and it's an easy look up on the internet. For me, it just boils down to everybody sees love in a very different way. Affection, appreciation, it could be loyalty, serenity, honesty, chivalry. Man, it just goes so much deeper than that. But definitely, when it comes to friends and stuff, you have to be aware of who you are going to show that love towards, because not everybody is deserving of your time and your determination. So then we're going to talk into the relationship type of love, which is the more bigger, so the better half of what we're going to be spending most, I would say about 80% of our time into. When we're growing up, we feel this attachment, this need to grow onto somebody, to have somebody at our side to accompany us along the way through our journeys, our goals, ambitions. A lot of us want to go searching out there when, like I said, in the beginning, we haven't been fully content or happy with ourselves first. And that's always a problem, because then you're just ultimately showing somebody a part of you that you're not 100% okay yourself. So they're constantly thinking you're okay, or they're constantly trying to show you their love in return, when it may never even reach you in the way that they hope it does. When it comes to that love, it's very hard. It's very tricky. It's something you have to be constantly working at, something you have to strive for, something you have to know that is it a long term? Is this just something seasonal? Is this even worth it? Is this like just a dating thing? What are your reasons for going out there searching for this type of love? Whether that be in whatever extent you see it as, love knows no boundaries. You need to be upfront with a person. You have to be honest. You have to be completely transparent. Because if you have issues, if you have problems that you should bear with yourself the rest of your life, that other half that you're willing to give that time towards should at least know and be able to work with you on that. A person that's willing to stick by your side, who is going to write everything out and understand you and believe in you for who you are, accept you for who you are. Now, at the same point, that may not last. No time limit is on love. It could be forever. It could be a year. It could be a couple months, whether that's marriage or high school relationship or college or, whatever you may see fit. It's always undetermined. So that's why it's constantly something you got to keep working at day by day. Love is a general topic I'm talking about right now. Like I said, if I were to go into the 3 different ways you can love somebody, that's, I think, a bigger topic I'll handle another day. But to shorten that up, love is what gives us another type of drive, just like anger could make us drive. Love can show us what we have worth fighting for. What you have love and desire and will in is something you should hold dear. Generally, they make us pretty strong inside, and they show us what we should get up in the morning for, whether it be for love for a passion, a love for a person in your life, love for yourself. The biggest thing to carry on from here is to love yourself before you can love others, and then return that into the world. And like I always say, share that love, share that experience, share those moments. Okay, and then the last topic we're going to talk about here is happiness. So without talking too much about it and generalizing anger, love, and then happiness, you put them all together in a triangle, like I said, and they all kind of go hand in hand. I know for me, some days it could be not hangry, totally different word, but happy. Then I could switch from angry to feeling loved, or I could feel depressed. There's multiple emotions in the spectrum here. But what I'm talking about happiness is also the same thing, finding love in what you desire. So happiness comes in multiple forms. Say if someone does something for you, gives you something, and it makes you feel happy, makes you feel overjoyed. Or let's say you complete something, or you reach a goal and you feel overjoyed, or you feel achieved and you feel great. That joy in something is something you should carry throughout your day or days or even year. Happiness is another thing we have to continue striving for, because it's very easy to feel discouraged, depressed, anxiety. But it's very rare to hear somebody say that they're completely 100% happy. Why is that? Happiness is not easy to achieve. Even people who have achieved multiple things in life, whether that be their goals, their dream car, their dream job, money, a family, they're still missing a key component that they say, I'm doing it right, but I'm not completely happy. And that's why happiness I think it's brought into the spectrum of you always have to feel 100% happy, which is not true. Just getting up in the morning and maybe changing something about your daily routine maybe gives you just a percentage of happiness, but that is still you feeling happy and okay with yourself, to love yourself in that way. So in many terms, I think happiness needs to be something that is pretty much achieved daily. It's very hard to see. It's very hard to grasp, and you're never going to hear somebody that, I've been happy for 3 months straight. I've never heard that in my life. That's, if anything, like, happiness is never the first thing I hear from people's mouths. I feel like it's a momentary type thing, but that's okay, because happiness is rare. Happiness is something that we have to keep looking for throughout the day, and it's not something that could be repeated or revisited. Just like memories and stuff, it's okay to learn from the past, but don't let your past define you. Don't let your past decide things for you. Reshape your future. Reshape your happiness. Just like going to the gym. If you go to the gym for multiple times, or you work out the same muscle group, you do the same routine, let's say 3 weeks in a row, you're going to get bored. You're not going to grow. I think that's the same thing from happiness. You have to keep finding new journeys, new adventures, new things to try to continue to gauge your happiness to where it is. Because eventually you might be happy doing the same thing over and over and over again, but you're never going to get that same first time happiness. You have to keep trying new things to get there. So, in that sense, happiness can revolve around many different things. Anger can come from love. Love can come from happiness. Happiness can come from love. You know, it just goes around. These are just 3 general topics that I'm talking about today. Hopefully in the next video I'll pick another 3 topics. Like I said, these 3 topics can be talked about in multiple different subgenres and stuff. Like it's not just this. I just felt like it was a fun little topic to talk about, necessary, and one to explore what I would say completely unscripted, as always. Straight from the heart, straight from the moment, and what was put on me to say. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. My name is SpookieSTL, and I'll see you guys next video. And at the end of the day, never forget to share the love.